Chelsea Sherrod here with our Nesson Patriots beat writer Zack Cox, recapping the Patriots' 37-26 loss to the Ravens today. And unfortunately, Zack, we're not just talking about the way this game went, but we're also talking about Mac Jones and his status in that last final offensive play for the Patriots. What can you tell us about what we saw from Mac Jones after that play and what his status is like currently?
Yeah, final offensive play for the Patriots, as you mentioned. Mac Jones heaved a pass, kind of a desperation pass downfield. Calais Campbell, Ravens defensive lineman, seemed to land right on his ankle or lower leg. Mac Jones limped off the field, went straight to the locker room, appeared to be in some significant pain, especially after with some of the photos from his exit that have come out. You can really just see the visible pain on his face as he's taken to the locker room. Now, according to a report from NFL Media's Ian Rappaport, initial x-rays on that injury came back negative, which is a positive sign for Mac Jones and the Patriots, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he avoided a serious injury. It could be a high ankle sprain or any number of things that wouldn't show up on an x-ray, so we're still kind of in wait-and-see mode there. After the game, the Patriots uniformly expressed confidence in Jones' backup, Brian Hoyer, who's been in the league for a long time, been with the Patriots for a long time, knows this Patriots system better than pretty much anybody else. But he also hasn't started a regular season game in close to 2 years, so I think there would be a pretty significant drop-off if they do have to go to Hoyer next week in Green Bay. But again, it's far too early to determine whether that's going to happen or not.
Absolutely, and it's unfortunate because it seems like Mac's been dealing with injuries lately. We talked about the back injury that he suffered in week 1. He had the stomach situation at practice that he was out of practice the other day. So now he's dealing with this leg injury. Moving forward, and you mentioned Brian Hoyer, but what could that look like? What did Patriots players have to say if the Pats do have to move forward with Hoyer?
Well, I think Hoyer would be the go-to guy in that spot because right now their quarterback depth chart consists of Brian Hoyer and Bailey Zappi, who's their fourth-round rookie, third string right now, has been inactive, a healthy scratch for these first couple of games. If you're talking about a multi-week situation or a long-term situation, then maybe the Patriots have to make some other sort of move there. But again, far too early to kind of speculate on any of that. But it was an unfortunate end to this game for Mac Jones because as we can get into the tail end of this game, even before this injury, was not particularly positive for him. But overall today, career high in passing yards. He did do some good things offensively, especially with attacking downfield on some of those throws to Devontae Parker. And now we are unsure whether he'll be able to be out there next week.
Absolutely. That Devontae Parker and Mac Jones connection that we saw in training camp is definitely something that was great to see in game action today. But let's talk about some of the issues that we saw today, because they had some chances to win this game regardless of Lamar Jackson going for over 200 passing yards, over 100 yards rushing. Ball security, turnovers. Can you talk a little bit about that stuff that we saw today?
Yeah, 5 touchdowns in this game from Lamar Jackson, 4 passing, 1 rushing, and the Patriots were in this game and probably should have won this game. Even Kendrick Bourne, the wide receiver, said after the game, this is a game we should have had because the Patriots were in position to win this game, and then they just shot themselves in the foot with some of these ball security mistakes that you mentioned. 4 of the Patriots' final 5 drives ended in turnovers. 3 of those were Mac Jones interceptions. The final one didn't really matter. It was kind of a desperation play. The Patriots were out of it anyway. But the first 2 were very costly. Both came on passes to Devontae Parker. One of those came in the end zone on a play that Parker said was a miscommunication. He and Jones kind of got their signals crossed somewhere on that play. Ended up being an easy interception for Marlon Humphrey. And then you also had a fumble by Nelson Aguilar after a really good chunk play. It was a nice catch and run across the middle. Just kind of had it punched out of his hands. And if the Patriots were able to kind of continue that drive, maybe maybe the outcome becomes different. But it's similar to what happened to the Patriots in week 1. They turned the ball over 3 times in that game, weren't able to win. That one also featured a late fumble by Aguilar. It's hard to win a game when you turn the ball over 3, 4, 5 times, and that's what the Patriots have done in both of their losses this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Just some perspective from you, Jack. One more question for you. What have you seen from the Patriots today that is positive? This offense especially, they're now 3 weeks in. Does it look like they're kind of finding their groove at all?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives, I think, to take away from this game for the Patriots. I mean, we mentioned the Devontae Parker-Mac Jones connection finally started to flourish in this game. Parker had 1 catch for 9 yards in the first 2 games. He was over 100 yards today. I believe he finished with 132 on 5 catches, all of those big plays down the field. So I think that's something that's very encouraging for the Patriots, who really needed more from Parker, especially because they did not have Jacoby Myers in this game. I thought Ramondre Stevenson really ran the ball well in this game. He averaged 6.1 yards per carry, also made some plays in the passing game. Going to be interesting to see moving forward how that kind of division of labor between him and Damian Harris shapes up in these next couple of weeks. So certainly some positives to take away from this game for the Patriots, which I think has to make the result even more frustrating because you're going up against one of the NFL's top playmakers in Lamar Jackson. They were able to hold him pretty well in the first half, kind of caved a bit defensively in the second half. But even with that, as I mentioned, they had multiple opportunities to win this game, just weren't able to capitalize.
Yeah, and we were talking about earlier with Jacoby Myers being out, who would be all reliable for this receiving core, and it was Devontae Parker who finished with 156 receiving yards, actually 3 shy of his career high. So now we'll just have to see what this looks like for Mac Jones moving forward as the Patriots look to turn the page and as they will face the Green Bay Packers in Week 4. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.